Now, the movie was produced and directed by filmmaker Stephen Ujlaki and includes interviews with several people from the world of politics, including Scripps News contributor Steve Schmidt, founder of the Warning podcast and newsletter, and they joined us now. Mr. Ujlaki and Stephen, always Steve, good to see you. Mr. Ujlaki, what led you to make this film, especially in the way that you did?
Well, it was the fact that Trump got elected in 2016, and I was completely surprised, and a lot of people in my bubble were surprised. I realized I didn't know what was happening in the country, and I made the film to find out. And I just discovered in the history of the last 45 years the roots of what's going on now, basically. I mean, so that's why I decided to make the film. Little thinking that I would understand that demonization and the whole pro-life movement were the result of a business deal between a televangelist and the Republican Party strategist of 1980 to get Reagan elected. And that's why when people see the film, it connects the dots and it helps them understand a little bit about the situation we're in now.
And Steve, what are the differences between Christianity and Christian nationalism? Will you talk about that?
Well, Steve says in the film, there's no connection.
Steve.
Oh,
Steve
sorry,
Schmidt.
Steve Schmidt.
We have two Steves.
We'll clarify. We'll get last names here.
Well, Christianity is a faith. Christian nationalism is a political dogma. And when you talk about Christian nationalism, the important word to focus on is nationalism. That's the poisonous word, not Christian. Nationalism, National Socialism. Nationalism is the opposite of patriotism, and Christian nationalism is what fascism looks like with an American character. There's a quote attributed to Sinclair Lewis that he never said, but it's that when fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying the cross. So what Christian nationalism holds is that there is a small group of people who will tell you that they are acting under the banner of God's providence, that they singularly can interpret his word, and that they will exercise that word through political power. And the point I make in the film is the places where those societies exist, where that holds true, are the most evil places on earth. There is a fictional account of what this looks like. It's The Handmaid's Tale. There is a real-world example of what this looks like, and it is the Taliban in Afghanistan. It is a philosophy of subjugation and cruelty in the name of God, and what's particularly perverse about it with regard to Christianity and the invocation of Christ's message is that he, of course, was a great apostle of peace, that he was the man who delivered the Sermon on the Mount. And this movie begins with a Christian nationalist attack on the Capitol. Let me also add, Eric Rudolph, the Atlantic Olympic bomber, is a Christian nationalist. Timothy McVeigh was a Christian nationalist. That when there were American Nazis that filled Madison Square Garden, there were giant banners of George Washington filled with crosses and swastikas. So this is here, it's present, it's real, and it's extremely dangerous, and this film highlights it historically, but also the clear and present dangers that exist in this moment and how it will influence the next.
And Steve, sticking with you before we get back to Mr. Ujlaki, why has this Christian nationalism, this movement, been effective as a political tool? Or maybe the reverse, how has it morphed into more of the politics, and why is it so successful? Is it a level of fear behind it, and that's at the core?
Fear is always an essential component of all autocratic movements, but it's important to understand historically. All the way back to the arrival of the Mayflower, you had religious seekers, and you had people on the boat accompanying them who were looking for opportunity that they referred to as strangers. It wasn't very long before there were settlements in Massachusetts, before there were witch hunts. This strain has always existed in American life. When the Ku Klux Klan organized, they did so under the banner of God. And this is important to understand. It doesn't mean that God is corrupt, and it doesn't mean that the teachings of Christ are. It just means that those men are. But this dogma is particularly and peculiarly American. And this is what American fascism looks like. When we think about this, sometimes we look at what German fascism looked like in the 1930s. It's alien, it's distant. Americans would never dress like that and goose step around. It looks different here. And in the 21st century, this is the manifestation of a virus that goes all the way back to the very beginning. And this virus is antithetical to democracy because it says at its core that there is a small group ordained by God who singularly hear his message, and they will use it to rule. That they will not just make the law, they are the law because they are the word. And that is a recipe for evil. This country has a separation of church and state. There is no government-mandated religion. The president is not a religious figure. We are a country of deep faith, but we separate our politics and faith, not faithfulness. There is a place at the table for all Americans of faith to be involved in politics. This is different. This is deadly. This is very dangerous.
And Stephen Ujlaki, question to you. Will you talk about what you learned while making this film that really most surprised you?
Well, I think it was the fact that the way the evangelicals were very apolitical, and the Republican strategist Weyrich was trying to figure out a way to get them to join up with the Republican Party. The televangelist leaders had a big problem. They wanted to keep their segregated Christian academies tax-free, but that was no longer possible. So they decided they needed some help from the Republicans. The big problem was this. The evangelicals did not believe in the political arena. They were not voting. They did not vote. So Weyrich told their leaders, tell them that the Republican Party is the party of God and that the Democratic Party is the party of the devil. And then they'll vote the right way. And because these people believed that every word that came from their preachers was directly a word God speaking to them, they did it. They joined up, they got Reagan elected with 22% of the evangelicals voting Republican who hadn't voted before. And of course, now the latest thing with Trump, it went up to like 81%. But it all was part of a business deal. It was all part of a way in which the leaders could get their followers to actually do what they wanted so that the leaders could enjoy potentially the relief from the Supreme Court to overturn all those many things that they were against. Integration, women's rights, gay rights, all the things that they were against, they sought help from the Republican Party in return for their votes. So the demonization started way back then. The demonization, and it was not easy because Jimmy Carter was actually a born again, but nevertheless, they followed the lead of their pastors, their preachers who were in it for the money. And today we have demonization, we have division in the country, and it was all because of a business deal that was made between Republican strategists and the televangelists.
And Mr. Ujlaki,
so that's
go ahead.
To me, that was hugely surprising. And that the divisiveness in the country was also part of a plan. The fact that if people feel that they don't trust their institutions, well, at a certain point, the extremists realized that they would have to weaken the institutions to take power. And so the divisiveness, the distrust of institutions that is now current was part of their plan to take power. They had to get rid of majority rule because they knew they would never be the majority. And so that's where we are today.
All right, producer director Stephen Ujlaki and Steve Schmidt, thank you both for your time this morning. Again, the movie Bad Faith is being released on streaming platforms starting today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, before